Also, our leader of opposition spoke about the propaganda, which in many ways makes me laugh. Our current victim is our treasurer, the man that we trust most, because the one you trust with your money is the one you trust most. But again, this regime is not stupid. They will attack you in your most potent corner. Our comrade Katana, nywera erima. Febali batuiseko n'abagizi b'ebisiyaga. Bali bagambyeko nti n'omubanda wa kabaka tayagala kabaka we. Kati nywera. These people are going to use every other way. Recently, I think most of you remember when they were claiming that the leader of our parliamentary team, kubanga waliwo abali babbye akawumbi akamu million lusanvu, ne bagamba nti ne Honorable Ssenyonyi. Comrade Nyanzi was also not spared, and many others. So for me, bagamba bugambi munywere gubatana kubako propaganda bajja. Gladly, we view our comrades by their works, by their fruits. Ladies and gentlemen, I also want to add my voice on the voice of our leader of opposition, calling for safety on our roads. Please, please do your part. Drive safely. Don't drink and drive. Don't drive when you're too stressed. Life is precious. Already our roads are death traps. Nobya natera nnyo kyogerako nti omuntu owa afudde accident olw'oluguudo olubi oyo Museveni amusse. But we know the country that we're living in, and we continue to advise you, ladies and gentlemen, to be safe on our unsafe roads. Today, friends, I want to address a few things. 3, maybe 4. I want to address the remarks made by General Museveni a few days ago. This is an indication of utter shamelessness, and it makes it even more shameless of him to say those words, apparently while honoring a distinguished man like General Aronda Nyakairima, who many believe was killed. He died under suspicious circumstances, but it's upon his honorable memory that General Museveni was shameless enough to tell these blatant lies. Former President Milton Obote described Museveni as a pathological liar, and I agreed with him. Among the many shameless lies, you remember Museveni went on record and wrote it in his 2001 manifesto. He said with open eyes on record that was his last and final term to run for president. How many years ago is that? More than 20 years, 23 years ago. He is still running for president, and until we kick him out, he's still going to stick on us. The same Museveni, you remember him saying on national TV that he would never want to be president after the age of 75. Now he's way beyond 80. Although he says he's 80. But he doesn't want anybody to remind him about his lies. I hesitate to call him a thief. That's why I limit myself to lying. You remember when the man fundraised money in 2015 for the construction of an NRM tower. And the guy ate the money. I did not say he's a thief. It's you who know the term or name given to people that take money that is not meant for them. So, these and many others are indications of Museveni's character. And we are not shocked about that. That's why, as a Christian, when they asked me what I would respond, my first response is to forgive him. Courtesy of age, it was his words when he said after 75, Ovatus tukyagatta bulungi. So tusooke kumusasira. However, although I personally forgive him as a Christian, we must be reminded that as a result of that rigged elections, that election of 2021, Ugandans have continued to suffer with hunger, with starvation, with poverty, with potholes, with corruption. You saw what happened in Chitezi recently. Museveni said that NUP can take him to court about his lies, well knowing that he's under protection of the presidential immunity. Ladies and gentlemen, I have written to Museveni, and in this letter, I put a 23 charge on him. I am challenging General Museveni to submit himself to an international audit. This has been our call from the beginning. We've been calling for an international audit of the 2021 election. He refused. Instead, he just kept arresting our people. We want to have that audit in accordance with the law. I also challenge General Museveni to cede his presidential immunity to Toronto Court if he's a man. He challenged that, he said, NUP can take me to court. I am taking you to court, Museveni. Put away your immunity. And then say that again. Of course, agenda kusirika, because he has nothing to say. But again, this goes further to prove that we know what he did in that election. And if we settle that argument that he has brought up again, then maybe the people of Uganda will get a chance to be led by a president that they realistically elected. So if Museveni is a man, let him take the challenge. And if he cannot, he should keep quiet and swallow his shame. The remarks of General Museveni, ladies and gentlemen, have brought back to question the reason why he went to the bush in 1980. He did not win the election. He was the Katumba Oye of 1980. But after the election, he picked guns, went to the bush. After taking power, he did not hand the power to Semo Gerere, who was the rightful winner. That shows that he was lying, just like he is lying right now. And now that Museveni says that the election was rigged, then why doesn't he disband the Electoral Commission? Why is he still appointing the Abakama, who pretended the rigging of more than 1 million votes? Why didn't he fire the Abakama? Because he's the one that appointed him. These and many others are questions to Museveni, which I'm almost sure he's going to bury his head in the sand because he thought we cannot answer back to him. Museveni, we don't fear him. Secondly, ladies and gentlemen, and this is very, very important. You remember that after the 2021 elections, we came out and warned the country that there was a plan to remove presidential elections. Because even if Museveni succeeded in rigging that election, we had completely undressed him. We had completely removed the mask. The world began and continues to view Museveni as the dictator that he is. So, he started devising plans to remove presidential elections. And now, it's in advanced stages. He was so ashamed when we exposed him, and clearly, he cannot afford to go back to elections. Also, we must note that the man is very old and wasted and weak. So, he wants to have a shortcut to that. Also, we should know that he wants to install his brutal son, who he knows cannot even win an LC1 election. In 2021, he got an excuse of COVID. and stopped us from going around the country. Now he has no other excuse, so he desperately is looking for ways to bring his son to power without an election. And therefore, is using some people that you are going to know over time to subdue the will of the people. We warned you, because this is how everything has started in the past. Everything starts like a joke. You remember when they took power, they said they were going to be in power for only 4 years. 5 years later, they used parliament to prolong their stay in power by 5 years. Then in 95, we got a constitution. It started as a rumor, as a joke, that they were intending to remove term limits from the constitution. Museveni himself even dismissed it, but eventually it came to pass. And then the age limit, it started like a rumor, and Museveni himself dismissed it as idle talk. Long story short, now we don't have term limits in our constitution. I mean, we don't have age limit in our constitution. So, today, he's doing the same. He started by gerrymandering and subdividing constituencies to make sure he can place his, I'm looking for a decent word to term the NRM MPs. When I get that word, I'll come back to that matter. But I'll give you an example. That the very recent census shows that the Buganda region alone has 11 million people out of the 45 million. That is about 24.19, close to 25% of the population. This is followed by Usoga with 4.4 million people. Even if we question, without this census that is concluded recently, but even going by that census that we question, still Usoga is indicated to have 4.4 million people. That is about 9.5% of the population, close to 10%. And yet Uganda, with all the people that they have, has the lowest number of constituencies. If you compute the constituency MPs and district woman MPs in the current 11th parliament, you'll see that the Eastern region has 141 MPs, the Western region has 132 MPs, Northern region has 124 MPs, and Central has only 102 MPs. Out of the 353 constituencies, Eastern has 101. The West has 91. North has 83, and Uganda has only 78. Therefore, Museveni believes that the parliamentary system, when they elect president from parliament, it will give him advantage, saying that it's easier for him to use these rural constituencies to do all manner of rigging, and then bring himself to power without having the will of the people. We condemn this, and we condemn those seemingly intelligent, useful idiots that General Museveni is using. In the beginning, when he wanted to remove the age limit, he used the likes of Kakoza, James Kakoza. And then, when he wanted to remove the age limit, he used Raphael Magezi. Now, he's using Norbert Mao and Kafuzi and the like. But ultimately, this proposal is intended to hand the country into the hands of Museveni's family. And I want to tell you, fellow Ugandans, this is a very, very serious warning. Once you are handed to this family, it becomes Museveni's kingdom forever. You are slaves